We find naughty DVDs that, maybe someone had for a long time, and they'll either want to stop watching them or they got caught, and they'll just throw like a pile of them in the river, and you find them scattered down the river.
Next to handcuffs, weird stuff like that. But,
You can learn a lot about people from what they're throwing away into the water.
Yeah, Rhinelander has not disappointed.
Hey, what's up? It's another Midwest Legends, and I've got Ed the Diver and Christie B. Midwest Legends. We're going to talk about some interesting stories involving Wisconsin and the Midwest and pick their brain about some very cool things they're up to. Glad to have you guys on. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here with you.
Thank you for having us.
So one of the things I just wanted to ask you about is, what do you think, when you picture yourself 5 years from now, a couple years from now, like, what does it look like, what you're doing now? Same stuff, maybe a little bit different, or what are you thinking?
I would like to be at the same stuff, kind of, because we love cleaning up the environment.
Yeah.
Want to keep doing that. It's just hard, like, when you get pulled all these different directions, then you're doing less diving, less cleaning up, more publicity stuff.
Yeah.
But that is the core of it. Getting out, being an example, causing ripples to get other people to come and you want to clean up too, either in their communities or, places that you've been that they want to see it stay clean.
Yeah, and we work with homeless shelters. We work with all different groups.
Yeah.
We work really closely in the downtown, but getting people together and just getting them outside, enjoying outside, picking up trash, you name it. It's just like you said, a ripple effect. It makes a difference, getting the word out and inspiring others to do the right thing.
Well, and that's why you guys are Midwest Legends. You just want to keep at it. You keep doing the right thing, staying humble, taking care of the rivers, lakes, our bodies of water, and then also super important, educating and helping others. But my belief is, based on what I've seen and just been my inspiration, is that there's probably people that are already more educated about not littering, not tossing stuff in the water, but also just the fact of like, hey, we need to be, whether it's doing it themselves or potentially donating to folks like you guys. You're helping out where you can, but I think you've probably already started that, and that movement is you've made it not only cool and interesting, but now you're probably inspiring a whole generation of people to do it. So.
Yeah, definitely. And also showing the dangers, like when people like to go to beaches or they like to go floating down the river, they like to go to popular swimming spots, the dangers of broken glass in the water. On beaches, we do metal detecting just in shallow water where kids are playing. Just an inch under the surface, you got rusty fencing, you got rusty nails, bobby pins, stuff that could stick in your feet and
Broken glass bottles. It's unbelievable just walking into the shallow part of a beach. The amount of shattered, just bottles broken off. In some ways, we were just talking about that this weekend, how they should be banned, like glass bottles and beat.
Supposed to be some places.
Yeah, but that's really dangerous when you have little kids. I have a little guy, 9 years old, but it's that's scary to think that your little person's, foot could get sliced open just by that.
Yeah, well, it's hey, if you want to go to the beach and have a couple beers, bring cans. Let's bring the cans. You can recycle them. Yeah. You can crunch them down so you got less to leave with. Easier to carry.
And our motto is leave it cleaner than when you
went there.
Yeah.
And I think too, that's such a good motto. And I think the big thing, for me, is the natural resources we have in the Midwest and in Wisconsin, like the lakes and rivers and any bodies of water in the wood. It's that's what we all love.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why we, still live here, why people come visit from other states, people from Illinois, for example, right? So we all got to take care of it because that's why we forget, sometimes that's why we like being here, but you want to enjoy it the way you want to enjoy it and recreate on stuff. But there's also some responsibility, leave it cleaner than when you came. You guys are the absolute spokespeople because you're doing that, you're living that.
Yeah.
But then you're you know what? I got a solution. It's Ed the Diver and Christie B. We're gonna clean it up.
And when we leave there to have all that garbage and to showcase it, whether it be in pictures or video, it feels good to leave and to let people know it's safer now, a lot safer. And look what we pulled out. Just be mindful of what is in the water.
And we can return people's personal property, whether it be, rings, earrings, necklaces, phones, Apple Watches in water. Everybody thinks, and they're waterproof. It says waterproof, but they're not impact proof. When you hit that water, they just fall right off.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Sure
I suppose
do.
that makes sense. Well, and I think too, people are probably so excited when they get something returned to them and you're able to say hey, we found this. And then obviously they got to verify who they are, whatever. You
Yeah,
leave it to them.
tears of joy. I mean, like I said, people will start shaking and crying, and it's so rewarding to us to see that joy. And, you know, there is still goodness in the world, and you can return it, you know, feels great.
Make them happy.
I mean, there's so much broken glass. It's disturbing, and
Yeah,
pieces
yeah.
of wire and nails. You wouldn't believe the stuff that we pull out, and all those shores are like cleaned up now and safer for kids playing at the beach.
What's funny too is when we find, you know, something suspicious or something weird,
Yeah.
it's like a couple weeks later, a month later, we get somebody saying, "Oh, that was my buddy. I remember when my buddy tossed that over the bridge, or this or that, or those are my handcuffs. I thought they didn't work, so I tossed them in there." And,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's a river. It's not a garbage dump, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I know I was reading some stories that when you had been interviewed, that you found like microwaves and toilets and
treadmills,
yeah,
washing
treadmill, that's
machines,
crazy. You know,
stoves.
like a treadmill's hard to move anyway. I can't imagine being
Right.
like, hey, I'm just gonna throw this in the river.
Yeah, like
You know?
who got together and they're like, you know what, let's meet up here and let's toss this
Yeah.
treadmill in the water.
Yeah, and like a treadmill, like where we saw it, it was where people float down, and then after the float, they'll go to the bridge and jump off because it's the deepest point in the river.
Yeah.
But then people are tossing stuff like tires, rims, and then stuff when you don't expect when you're jumping.
Right.
Right.
All of a sudden you jump down, you break your leg on a treadmill down there. And
Yeah.
it's not safe.
Well, and I know so because I know you've been up in the Pastrico Flowage, Cauldron Falls, all the place, and there's that one spot that, I mean, there's many spots, but there's a spot that we would always jump off and no one knew what was down there. I mean, you obviously probably keep it safe now,
Yeah.
so we're not getting cut, but we would jump off that all the time. And you're thinking at the worst case scenario, maybe there's some rocks way down there, but there could be, like you said, it could be a treadmill, right? Or a
Right.
tire or something.
You never know.
Well, now that the zebra mussels are really taking off, people cut their feet. If they don't jump far enough at Twin Bridge, the jumping rock down by the beaches, or the Wolf Rock. Wolf Rock is deeper. But they jump out. If they don't jump over 6 feet out, then you're going to land on a bunch of sharp zebra mussels and just cut your feet all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, that's another thing. I suppose you see the impact from like invasive species as well. So I know that's like when you and I first met up too, one of the things that I've always been really interested is the lakes and the rivers and the health of it. And like I'm on a lake association now, and we work with Department of Natural Resources for kind of the clean water stuff. But you know, you're seeing it firsthand, and I think to the point you guys are doing education, a lot of people just don't think because you can't see it, right? So it's like if you can't
Right.
see it, it's not there.
Yep.
But you're able to educate people like, hey, there's a lot of things we should be doing because this is what it really looks like, right?
Yep,
Absolutely.
exactly. And it's nice to have the GoPro on my mask so I can show them. It's just hard to find the time to edit that footage when you're always traveling. You're trying to get the above water footage done.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult. So winter time is when, time to hit that editing for the underwater footage.
Well, and I know you're a tough guy. You're not too, you used to be a skateboarder. You just, you're out diving and getting things, whether it's cold or murky. But like, what's maybe if you remember, was kind of like, it doesn't have to be scariest, but kind of like the water where you're just a little bit on edge, if you can remember body of water.
So I remember that in the Fox River, it was early spring. It was really windy that day. My board was kind of flopping over with my flag on there. I was trying to stay on the edge of a channel in the current up by a dam where like there's a little island. This current was whipping. It's calmer over here. So I was trying to stay on the edge of that and find lures. But I have a rope that goes from my wrist up to my board. And when I'm kind of going down diving, the rope will get wrapped around my fin a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there I was trying to unwrap it from my fin so I could dive right. And like I wasn't paying attention. I started sinking down about 15 feet deep. And all of a sudden I got into the current and it started like kind of pulling me while I'm down there trying to undo this. And I knew where I was underwater and I just got to swim that way to get out of the current. But it's just, there's so much stuff. There's rebar, there's scaffolding, there's all kinds of stuff in there that you could run into. Anchors, then when the anchors have ropes with a bunch of lures stuck on them, hooks. So you got to
You get that on yourself, man. Yeah, there's a lot to think about, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and now too, I mean, I think you have someone with you. Christie with you a lot too, so it's helpful. I like to have someone there, and even if they're not in the water with you at the time, at least watch and like, hey, he's hopping up, like we got to do something.
For sure.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's like a lot of people have asked to come dive with me or with us, but you don't know their experience level. You can't see them most of the time, and you don't want them right next to you kicking you the whole time. So it's hard to dive with people in situations like that, but it's just something I've been doing all these years. I love doing it. But if you're like she does her own things, free diving, she stays in the shallower. I stay in the shallower too most of the time, but I can go deeper with the scuba equipment. But we've had people come with that just they don't like it. They're like, not for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things too. Like when you guys are out there, you know what you're doing, you're focused, and as much as you want to bring people with, you just got to make sure that it's not now another distraction where you've got to
Yeah.
be focused on their safety, because you obviously are concerned with people that are with you. You don't want anything to happen to them. So yeah, it's one of those. It's like balancing the, hey, I would love to have you come dive, but also this is serious business. I mean, we're in the water, it's dark. We've got to not only protect your safety but our safety, and we're gonna find things and encounter things that we don't even know are there. Like,
Yep.
when
Right.
we need to be anticipating that it's kind of the unknown. I mean, it's a little bit of, it's like being a little bit of a treasure hunter explorer, right? I mean, it's the unknown out there.
It's
So.
incredible. Like I said, it's so exciting when you find even just a pair of sunglasses, a bottle. It's just a treasure. You never know what you're going to find, and it's exciting and addicting.
And one of our favorite spots that we found this year was at Ropier Falls up north.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's only a little creek running through. It's called Ropier Falls, but then there's a landfill on both sides with all mountains of bottles and glass and other random old stuff. Just you go start picking, and you're like, oh my! It's just like heaven.
Yeah, I suppose. And in every bottle, like who's the man? Like where'd it
Right.
come from? What's the year? That there's just so much cool. I mean, there's a lot of history there's a lot of history, I suppose, to the rivers, the waterways with stuff that's been dropped in over time and forgotten, whether
For
it was
sure.
intentional or,
Yeah.
somebody was just out there. Maybe you got to think sometimes, people might lose it overboard on a boat, or you're out on the ice, right? And it gets left behind or dropped out of a pocket, and
Yep.
melts, and then now you find it in the water.
And I think a lot of the current, like, a lot of people are pretty conscious these days about littering. So I think a lot of the stuff is accidental. Like I said, we found a bunch of hats and sandals out here.
Yeah.
I'm sure they just flew off out of the boat, or they just came from downriver, like they're swimming and they just ended up, on these rocks out here. But I've been to places cleaning up, party places where they know me, they know what I do, but they're just having fun and they just throw their can at me. And I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
You guys, you're working against me, all right? I'm trying to help
Yeah.
you. You're not helping me here.
Right.
Well, I was going to ask you too, and I know maybe one of the cool things that you found, because that helped bring you guys together, was the Barbie, right? The
Yeah.
infamous Barbie. But
Fran and Barbie.
yeah, right. Like, cause I mean, and the cool thing is, I think based on people, like you sell stuff to support what you guys are doing. And at the time, obviously you found that Barbie, and it was kind of bidding thing it was cool, fine, something unique, but obviously people are bidding on it to support the cause of you. And then Christie was obviously like, we're going to throw a bunch of money at this because it's you want to help them. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a donation for
Yeah.
the Midwest tour of
Yeah.
2024, and I love, what he's
Yeah.
doing, and brought it to me on my 40th birthday in a tackle box and a bunch of mermaid, merch, and he asked me out again, been together ever since, and
yeah, I got tattoos and
it's
a month after we went to Florida, and then
Alaska twice.
he proposed to me in Alaska, and we've been together, ever since.
That's an awesome story. And obviously you guys share a passion for, like the waterways and just taking care of the environment and stuff. So that's even better. Like you
Yeah.
guys do it and you do it together and have fun doing it. 'Cause
For sure,
It's
absolutely.
like more than a job, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like
And she's classy. She's wearing all fancy clothes, but she can get down and dirty.
Yeah, I go
the
in
mud.
swamps. I do everything. Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen you in the wetsuit. I've seen you out there digging through the trash and do what you got to do. So
We just have a blast doing it together. We love it. And who knew that a dirty Barbie doll at the age of 40 I'd meet my best friend.
Yep.
So
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool, though. That's an awesome story. One of the things I was going to ask you too is, and I'm sure there's just a ton of different things for different reasons, but like, what's one of the coolest things that you found besides the Barbie? I mean, the Barbie obviously led to love and all the great things, so that's an awesome story. But other than that, what's been something just super cool or remarkable?
We find a lot of, like, I've got one rifle. It's like a 30-30 Winchester lever action. Found that, called the cops. They took it. I got it back. Found another, like a pellet rifle. Found a lot of handguns, BB guns, knives, a lot of fishing gear, cell phones, Apple Watches. I got like a bunch of those that haven't been returned.
Yep. In Minocqua, we just found 2 cash drawers and a BB gun, and we contacted the Minocqua Police Department, and they ended up taking it, and then they actually mailed us an honorary police badge from the Minocqua Police Department, so that was an honor. But we always call law enforcement if we find, something out of the ordinary, guns, cash
Try to
drawers.
help.
Obviously, how did that end up in there if you weren't doing something sassy? But
Right.
it is a little creepy with the laptops, because it's like, obviously there's something really, the hard drive,
Yeah.
So,
Why would you throw that in the water unless there's
Right.
something you didn't want people to?
And
Yeah.
we find naughty DVDs that, maybe someone had for a long time and they're
Yeah.
like, either want to stop watching them or they got caught and they'll
Gross.
just throw like a pile of them in the river and you find them scattered down the river.
next to handcuffs
Yeah.
and weird stuff like that. But,
You can learn a lot about people from what they're throwing away into the
Right.
water.
yeah, Rhinelander has not disappointed.
That might have been the Hodag monster up there. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a
Exactly.
person.
Yeah, Ryan
Hey,
Rubel's
Ryan-
hanging out there too much.
I was going to say Ryan Rubel's from Rhinelander. It totally
Yeah, did
shows.
you ever ask him, hey, do you know anything about this? He's like, I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, we have a group chat with him and Matt Ramage, and we just have a blast. But yeah,
Yeah, those are good guys. But yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan is from that area. So you get some insights. Could be asking, hey, do you know where this would have come from, Ryan?
Yeah.
is that yours? But great friends of ours, though.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, and I think too, like the cash drugs, I mean, obviously most likely taken from someone that was either robbed the place or whether they were an employee or not. And I was thinking too, like, I think the waterways in Wisconsin have always kind of added into the lure. Like you guys have lived in Wisconsin and everyone hears the stories about how every place has some tie to prohibition or gangsters.
Yes.
Every time.
Right?
Lot.
Stories.
I was going to ask you, I might have to ask him those because I was just thinking too, there's a lake up in northern Wisconsin that I go to. And there's one of the guys that lives in the lake does some diving, and he's out there and he hasn't found anything cool other than just like like lake stuff, right? But
Yeah.
there was an old story, of course, about like how the feds were coming to raid a local speakeasy or something that wasn't supposed to be selling booze, and this doesn't even make sense, but they took like the registers and just threw them out in the lake, and they sank down in this one area. No one's ever found them, but that's part of the lore of it because the story goes on and it's until you came along, it's pretty hard to disprove or prove that. So.
Yeah.
And we've heard those stories many times, especially with casino, the slot machines.
Yeah.
They're like, the feds are coming, so they tossed them over here, or they tossed, all this stuff. But we
Right.
find a lot of stuff by boathouses, Eagle River, right? There's an old boathouse here. Find a lot of old, whiskey bottles. And
Yeah.
I found a couple bottles from Paris, France, Coca Mariana.
Yeah.
And they sell for like $145 on eBay.
That's pretty cool.
And then that's what we love about the bottles. Like they have history, they're worth some money, but it's hard for me to let go. And I've got a big room just shelves stacked full of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's there's probably a unique story to that, how that got there. That's not just like, what was it, like in Rhinelander, we used to call it Rhine and Kugels, but it was like Rhinelander
Kugels.
beer or whatever. Like I used to find a beer bottle there, still cool, but there's it came from that area. But like a bottle from Paris, France, well, there's
Right.
probably a lot of backstory to that, how that ended up there, right?
It's so exciting when you find the bottles with any writing or wording and the embossed, glass. But yeah, it's addicting.
What's if you can think, what's a good story, because my guess is either you get a call, you get an email, or you're at a location and then somebody comes up to you and is like, Ed and Christy, I got it, like kind of like you're just talking about this over there, you're probably going to find some old slot machines. Like, is there any cool story like that you can think of off the top of your head?
Not that we found, like they tell us to search a lake, a huge lake, and they said, oh, it's somewhere over here. It's like, we don't really have that time to do that.
Yeah.
There's
Somewhere in this general
It's
vicinity.
not time
Right.
just to go explore because
Exactly.
we're so busy doing cleanups, doing recoveries and stuff like that in rivers and, sometimes lakes. But we hear a lot of stories of sentimental value.
Yeah.
So we get about these days with all the publicity and all the advertising that been doing over the years, like people are like, I see that you find stuff for free or you try to help people out, but it's like we do it once in a while when we're doing cleanups or if it's really sentimental, like like a really tough story, like we don't want to charge you, we just want to help you.
Right.
But we do have a business to run and to grow and stuff.
Right.
So a lot of people will try the, this is very sentimental to me with my grandpa's, or it was his rod and I lost it. And that's the most common story. My dad and my grandpa's fishing rod and I lost it. And I say, okay, well, I charge this much an hour for driving and diving. Oh, I can just go buy a new one. So
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, we got to wait. And I know there's sometimes too where like you've been out doing a cleanup and you guys have just found some things and you're like, you're good enough, you're nice enough to like post it on your channels. And then someone's like, that watches your channels like, that's my thing.
Yep.
And that,
Exactly.
And we do that.
Yeah.
And we don't hold it for ransom. We just, as soon as they say it's ours, and we try to confirm it somehow, try to get it working and confirm it. But with like the Frisbee golf discs, a lot of them have names and numbers on them. And, when I do those dives, you try to call everyone or text them and say, if you could just cover the $650 shipping for the envelope and the thing, that'd be great. So a lot of them will do that, and they'll pay a little extra too, and say, "We love what you're doing. You know, you're
Right,
trying
here's
to
a donation.
do
or
what's
whatever.
right." And then some people say, "You know what? Just keep it. Love what you're doing." And
Right.
Because it didn't matter that I wasn't that good at frisbee golf.
Right.
Anyway. I don't need that thing, but
And then you have the heartfelt stories like what happened in Wausau with the woman who tried saving her. She didn't know it was her husband that went into the Trap River, but we get, messages like that. Like that was absolutely heartbreaking. And that got to CBS National News. So we did an interview with David Begnaud, and like it's, some of us can be very emotional and touching,
Yeah.
and that really affected, there were a lot of tears. I was very emotional. She jumped in the river to try to save her husband. His phone was at the bottom of the river. He passed away. And when she jumped in to try to save him, her phone went in. And, we didn't think twice about it. We jumped in our truck, drove to Wausau, recovered both phones. And, there's a lot of emotion to it. We love to help people, but it brings us a lot of joy to be from the bottom of our hearts to help them and bring them some closure, because they think that's never going to be found again. And all their memories, if that wasn't backed up, all their pictures, all their videos, everything is always going to, so if it feels good to help others and, inspire others to pick up
and they're probably like in that instance their last communication her last communications with
Right.
him on both of those devices. So for what you guys to bring that about for them, it's like awesome. And I know you guys are weighing a lot. You've got to make a living. You're also trying to protect the environment. So you're like doing the best you can to balance all of that, which is difficult. But I think you guys do a good job, and I think it's awesome too. Like you pointed out, people. A good way is like follow the channel and see if you guys have found something, and then reach out. And then, like you said, we don't hold it for ransom. We'd love to give it to you. It's just we can't go out and search for everything everybody wants us to. We wish you wish you could, but you can't. You got you got to earn your living, and you also got to balance the. You're trying to save one lake, one stream, one river at a time as much as you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've learned to say no. To grow, I did a lot of donations and giveaways. Just giving here's tray of lures. Okay, and then after a while, it's like, okay, I'll just do it for the benefits and fundraisers.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you got people all over the world, and I live in Africa and I can't afford lures. Can you send me some to Africa or to Australia? And it's like, I can't. Sorry, I don't ship internationally. But then you got people asking you to find like their sunglasses in the middle of the river that they lost during a float. It's like, well, we could find it if we do just a voluntary cleanup, but you don't want to pay me $450 to come and search for your glasses.
Yeah, it's just got to be realistic and mindful of.
It's like, we'll put that, if we're cleaning up, we'll put that on a list. If we find it, we'll let you know. But and I know, and I think sometimes people don't understand too the amount of effort and time that goes into finding something. I think the part is you guys make it look easy to some extent, but it's been a lot of experience. And it's also like, coming a lot of time, right? But when you're showing it's like, I found this right away. Well, you're good at finding things, but it takes time, takes effort, and it takes that preparation to do it. And I think some people may not realize that because you make it look so darn easy sometimes.
And it is. The whole kayak we'll do a river float, and it's like the whole kayak is filled, head to toe with cans. And it's like, we need to empty them all out. We organize it to show everybody the plastic, the metal, all the objects that we found. And then you take a video, and it's like, we're very open and honest with everything we find. Just on Friday, we found 7 necklaces and that cell phone in the Peshtigo River, and it's like people see it, and if they claim it, we get the proper verification. We meet them, and everything's kosher. But it's like there's a lot of work that people don't see that goes into it. And
even on the back end, when you're talking about like you guys are reaching out to and mail, like you're just mailing something. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're mailing thing after thing after thing, it takes time, and you guys got to eat, you got to sleep, you got to have a life outside of it. But
and our time is precious. We have families, and
But you guys are doing an awesome job. I know I'm a huge fan, and I love watching, especially the fact that I know some of these bodies of water, and I've grown up on them and watching you out there doing it, and like, man, that's so awesome. One, to see what it looks like, but just two, to know like it's getting cleaner for not only us, but future generations. And then the fact is you're educating other generations to be like, here's why we don't throw this stuff in, because it doesn't disappear. Here's what happens to that, potentially your feet or your body, but also to like the marine life down there, right? So
in this fall, we have an exhibit going into the Neville Public Museum in downtown Green Bay. And we encourage, community members, if they pick up garbage, to take a picture with them and all their trash. And we're going to blow them up to 8x10s. And we created, it's called the Wall of Waterway Heroes. So we're including the community, and they're excited to be, in the exhibit, and just it raises awareness, and it gets people outdoors and to pick up, and it's, community
I bet you, like, so when you originally got into it, you were, before you were scubaing, right? You were doing it like with a snorkel setup. and
Just
things.
this hold my breath. I was letting shallow water go down, look around for 20, 30 seconds, come up, throw the lures on my little boogie board.
Yeah.
And then I started noticing all the trash. So I got a basket so I could put trash, but then I was filling up too fast. So I got a kayak, and then I started recording everything and
Yeah.
just getting wetsuits to stay warmer and stay safe. And
He was sick of losing his lure. The kids were losing his lures, and he was sick of it. So he's like, you know what? I'm not going to pay for this. So he started doing. That's how he got into it. But it's like,
Instead of spending a couple $100s on lures, I was buying thousands of dollars of scuba gear.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
right.
a hobby. Well, it worked out well, and I think one of the cool things too is like the people that are interested in doing it, like they don't have to get all the scuba certification. You can go out and do it just how you started, how you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to go to the extent that you guys are doing, but like if you're interested, there's not a huge barrier to like at least start how you did. Go out,
Yeah.
get a snorkel set. I mean, it might be addictive. They might have spent a lot of money, but hey,
Yeah. And another thing is, it's like we don't just take the treasures, we take all the trash. Like we see
Yeah.
people, and there's other divers, they just go and pluck. Like we'll go to certain sites, and you can actually see where people just like they left all the garbage. Like we'll go, like in Anago, it was like, oh my gosh, like there's just trash everywhere, but they took all the good stuff. We want to make major emphasis that we take everything. We don't just take the good stuff. So
I know, and that's what I appreciate about you guys, because you can see, like you said, when you've got like the board and everything, the kayak loaded with it.
Yeah.
It's like you could just go and get the stuff that's
bottle.
worth, or the cool stuff, the things that people are gonna get clicks and views for. But
Sure.
you're like, no, we're gonna grab the actual trash and clean this place up, and it's gonna
Yeah.
take more time, it's gonna take more effort, but we're gonna do it, and that's pretty sweet.
and we love it.
And we've had a couple people say, like, assume that we're getting rich from all the garbage. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're getting all the garbage and making so much money. I'm like, how do you do that? I'd like to figure that out.
And we need to like
Let us know how it is.
right. And it's like we're taking the time and separating the recyclables and everything, and like going to dumpsters and like doing it properly, and just
And emptying getting all the
All the
life
mud.
out of there. There's crayfish and minnows inside some of these, and you got to get all the mud out and
Yeah.
just
Big
you're not
time.
killing them all.
I suppose at the time, get like cleaning it up afterwards too and taking care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things too I was gonna ask, because I was asking kind of about like the dark scary, like what's like the prettiest, or something that just is remarkably clear or clean, or just you have just an awesome memory from.
Superior.
Yeah, Lake Superior up by the Black Rocks.
Okay.
What is it, Marquette?
Yeah.
We did a news story, 2 channels, me and Sal and Jay last year on our tour, and it was just beautiful. People were jumping off the cliff, and you got out there, and it was really cold. It was like, felt like 35, 40 degrees. And
Refreshing.
they were jumping off in their shorts. We're like, man, I'm cold in my suit and all my gear, and you're jumping off in just your shorts. But it was so clear down there.
Yeah.
And they already have a lot of other divers that, and from that area, that's one of the places they dive. So it's
Okay.
pretty clean. I think I just found like a little propeller with my metal detector and a nickel and
Yeah.
a lure or something.
Just a cool place to dive.
Which is a good thing, I mean, we like to see it where we go and it's completely cleaned up. I mean, that's a great thing. But then you go to other bodies of water and it's just shocking to see the trash and the.
Yeah.
And another thing, when you're going down a float like the Peshko River, you start out and it's like, you don't find too many things. You get towards the end because people keep getting drunker and drunker. It's
Yeah.
like you find more clothes, the sunglasses are popping out left and right, and all the beer cans and bottles. But it's
Yeah.
like,
Find brown socks on the banks.
yeah, you really.
Yeah,
just-
right as you get to that very end, you're like, yeah, this is kind of where
it's
this is where the
string
beer started kicking in. With the case of beer might have been empty by this point. So
Yep.
For sure, in Fondy Aqua Park, it's like the goggles, what I mean? Like just handfuls of goggles.
really?
Yeah.
Glasses, and Apple Watches.
Yes. It's you got to tell people, it's like, take your jewelry and why do you want your cell phone with you when you're going down a slide,
Yeah.
Some people tape themselves, but I would not be that person. Like you're
Yeah.
kind of asking for it, but
I
yeah.
suppose. Have you ever found like a car or a motorcycle or anything like that out there? Or
Not
just
yet.
pieces, but
I know my instructor showed me a car out out of Menominee, right in the Bay of Green Bay there. Just, not too far off the shore is an old red car from the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
But it must have fell through the ice during
I was gonna say, how did that get out there? This is
Yeah.
Sure.
either launched it, but yeah, you're right. Probably went on the ice, right, and then
Yeah.
it sank. So
Well, we had asked to go to Milwaukee all the time, in specific, because there's so much crime. There's more guns, more vehicles.
yeah.
But we don't really. I don't have the equipment to haul bigger stuff up.
Yeah.
It would be cool to get some on camera. Call a wrecker or something, and go down and hook it up, and then pull it out. But I haven't found anything yet like that.
Well, and you're from the Howard Swamico area, Russell. We went to Pampered Park and there was
Yeah.
a safe. So like we got all those discs, those Frisbee discs, but we had the Green Bay Police Department, the dive team join us because there was a safe and he had known about that the prior year.
And a fridge.
But yes, a fridge. But yeah, I mean that's pretty exciting. And then having him crack it open, but there was nothing in it.
Wonder why it got thrown in there though. It's kind of
Right.
right. Like,
Well, the fridge was like, it was a bigger, older fridge. And
Huge.
underwater, I couldn't open it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what if there's a body
yeah,
in there or
it's
something?
right. You're
So I had the Sheriff's Department dive team come out and hear the news there. And my Al Ponky
Yeah, from Green Bay Scuba, our
came
friend.
out.
Yeah.
But it was just hard. They had a slant like that. And we were underneath there trying to hook all the straps on and try to lift it up with one arm and get the straps under. Then had the lift bags. And it was quite an effort.
It was an
but we got it
ordeal,
out.
but like we totally thought there was going to be something in there. We were a little.
it seems like a unique place to have like at Pamperin Park that it would be there. But like I guess it was there. Somebody for whatever reason put it out there. But yeah, my thought would be the same as yours. Like
Right.
this seems like there's a safe and then there's a refrigerator. This seems probably some kind of
Yeah.
crime. But
Right, exactly.
And when speaking of Pamperin Park, there's been a couple of guys like I was like, hey, I found your disc at Pamperin Park, and the one guy was like, you sent it back to me last year, and I threw it back in there, so you might as well just keep it this time.
it's a repeat offender.
Right, exactly. A repeat
You,
offender.
you maybe got to work on your frisbee golf just a little bit.
Work on your golf game.
Yeah. 'Cause I can only clean up so many times for you. So, well, yeah, that's pretty cool. I was gonna ask because it's Midwest Legends, is how about just anybody that you can think of as like legendary character that, I mean, I'm sure in your life you met tons of people, but just when you're out diving, I mean, I know I follow you. I see when you're going to restaurants, you're meeting people on the shore, this and that. I mean, obviously sometimes law enforcement is working with you, but anyone you can think about, just an absolute Midwest legend that you've ran into. Maybe a character that just like, that's one of the things that I always enjoyed when I went places is some of the absolute just characters of people that had stories and had, just a lot of mystique to them. So
We adore Charlie. I mean, we've dove with him. We just
yeah, Charlie Behrens?
Yeah, we did a dive with him in Milwaukee, and you've done a couple with him prior to that. But
Yeah, he's
Personally-
fun hanging out with, and like we had last time it was by Milwaukee, but it's like Pensaki Lake.
yeah,
Or
Pewaukee.
Pewaukee Lake.
Yep.
And I guess there's some famous people that have houses on there, but we had a little competition who could find the oldest beer can, the most
Yeah.
lures, and
Of course.
Charlie won with his,
Yeah.
I think, an old style can, and he found like a nice lure, and
Yeah.
it was just really, we were in a rush. We had a boat captain. We wanted to try these different spots. We had to hurry up and get back because there's another dive team looking for stuff, cleaning up. But it was a blast, great footage, and it was just everything he says is funny.
He's the most humble, sweetest, down to earth person. Like he makes you feel so comfortable. It's like he's so out there, but it's like when you meet him, it's just like talking to a old friend, So I honestly would say Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie, and
Personally.
we love Ryan Rubel.
Oh yeah,
great friend of
Ryan's
ours,
our dear friend, Ryan Rubel. Like
from Meanwhile, Wisconsin, and he
Yep.
just
yes, he's
and
the best.
he gave me a lot of advice over the last couple of years. I met him up in Crandon at the races for the first time. He
Yes.
slept in my tent, had to listen to me snore all night.
It's rough, let me tell you.
But I know we've been great friends after. He's the one that named that Barbie doll Crandon Barbie.
Yes.
And if you just Google Crandon Barbie, it's like
And the
everything pops up because of
The national news, I mean, pick that up. But
so-
Ryan Rubel and Charlie for sure.
Yeah.
We adore Matt Ramage, and yeah, we've all become really close friends. So I mean, they have a huge impact.
Yeah. And of course you, Russell.
Yeah,
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
yeah, for
We,
sure.
when we see your signs everywhere, like we were laughing on the way here because there's the what is it, the Saul
Gruber?
one, Gruber law,
Gruber.
and then you're the two after, and then there's one in between. It said better than a one call and a beard.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
I know that the billboards have gotten pretty popular, and there's other people playing off the billboards. There was a guy like in Milwaukee that's like now more lawyer, less beard or something. So it's funny when their marketing is aimed at our,
Yeah.
based off of our marketing. So it is
Right.
fun. But I think, I mean, I like to the point too, like Ryan and Charlie's he's like and I think part of it, that's why he's so successful with what he does is that he's a really good storyteller
Yeah.
and it's very funny. Like even when, like I can tell a story and it's like, oh, that's okay. But he tells a story and you're like, it's got a punch at the end. And it's a good story. I mean, we brought him on and he was telling us about his, his grandpa and things like that. And I love to hear those stories just about different individuals in the Midwest.
Down to earth for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the cool things about Midwest people generally is you can meet them and just kind of
Yeah.
start a conversation, whether it's a beer or coffee or just
Yeah.
hanging out. Right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
They make fun of the way we talk, but I don't know any different, you know?
Well,
Other people make fun of our, like, I don't even know that we had an accent.
Do you feel like, have you heard this, that like maybe in eastern Wisconsin, where I spent most of my life, that we have a little bit different Wisconsin accent than other people?
Yeah, I
Quite possible.
I don't
Yeah,
see it either, but
me either.
I've traveled a bit for law stuff, and people have said, "Oh, I can tell you're from Wisconsin." And then
Right.
even over like in Western Wisconsin or even in Minnesota, people like you have a really strong accent. But I grew up in Sheboygan and Green Bay,
Yeah.
and and then we didn't have a cabin, but my good buddy across the street had a cabin in Crivets, and I was up in Crivets all the time
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah, we do videos and people will actually say, I can totally tell they're from Wisconsin just by the way we talk. And I'm like, is that a compliment or I'll take it as a compliment? But you know what I mean? We get that a lot. Like, because people from all over the world watch our page,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I've seen that numerous times, like,
Yeah.
totally tell you guys are from Wisconsin. I'm like,
yeah, that's what people say all the time, because it's like I can tell that person's from Texas. Like, no, I can tell you're from Wisconsin. Actually, a Texas guy was like, yeah, your accent in Texas would be really interesting. I'm like, what accent are you talking
right.
about?
In East Coast, you can totally
Oh,
tell,
yeah.
like Rhode Island and Jersey.
Boston.
I would rather, have my Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What do you think? So I was talking to some people about, because even in Wisconsin, you've got different, obviously, things going on. But like,
Yeah.
what would you say the staple food, like when you think of a specialty? And I'm not talking cheese for Wisconsin,
Yeah.
but like Eastern Wisconsin, because you guys are from Eastern Wisconsin, as I am too. What?
Yeah.
What?
Brats, I think.
Brats and obviously like a Friday fish fry, we
Fish
just
fries,
absolutely
yeah.
adore. Like there's nothing that beats a Friday fish fry.
Agreed. And what would you say, like, for Eastern Wisconsin fish fry? What kind of fish?
Walleye.
I was just gonna say, or perch, walleye and perch.
And I love that
Yeah.
because over here, like in Western Wisconsin, people, you don't hear about perch much. But when I grew up in Eastern Wisconsin, and I was just talking to Matthew Golden yesterday, the
Yeah.
Packers, receiver, and I told him, you got to go to a perch, you got to have fish fry and try perch, try walleye. And he was like, "Oh, well." And he was talking about crawfish. Like, have you ever had crawfish? And I think I did.
Royals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, because I went to, because he's from Houston. I went to Houston one time, and I tried as much as I could. But
Yeah.
I was like, in the Midwest, it was kind of like meat and potatoes. But we do have these fish fries. We venture out a little bit.
Right. And you gotta have the coleslaw and the potato salad and the rye bread and the onion. It's just fantastic.
Beans.
Right. Yeah. Baked beans. He'll love it.
You're making me hungry right now.
Yeah, I know.
Well, every time I go back, because I was in Eastern Wisconsin for a while, there used to be a place too. I don't know if you've ever been there. What used to call Watersfront. Have you ever been out there
Yeah.
in Swamico?
Yeah.
I used to go out there and have the perch and just like different. I mean, there's all, in my opinion, the Green Bay area and like surrounding has just excellent food.
Oh,
And-
for sure.
And my dad, who now moved over to Western, he's from West Wisconsin. He's like, I miss. And no, I'm not hating on West Wisconsin. There's a great place to eat. Hudson has awesome places, but
Yeah.
there's just a lot of. I don't know. I miss it. I think there's a little bit different food there. It's still Wisconsin, but it's slightly different.
Right.
It's great. And then obviously you can go up to Door County and you got all kinds of different
Yeah.
things going on there.
For sure, like the ice cream shops and all that stuff. But yeah, Rivers Bend is one of our new sponsors.
yep.
That's one of my favorite places
Yeah.
ever.
I saw that, and I want to tell you guys that when I was in high school, we would either go to Olive Garden for
Yes.
dances or Rivers Bend. That was
Yum.
Yeah.
Olive Garden will never get old.
I know.
Seriously. I can eat those breadsticks and that salad and soup.
And the kitty cocktails,
Yeah.
your favorite there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make the best kitty cocktails.
That's when you go for a fancy dinner when
Yeah.
you're,
Right.
it's still good. I still love Olive Garden, but Rivers Bend was stable. Actually, one of my good buddies worked at Rivers Bend washing dishes in high school. And so
Yeah.
Rivers Bend was good back then. It's good now. It's been around forever. That's a staple kind of Green Bay, but really the Howard Swamico area. I mean,
For sure.
If you've been in the area, you know Rivers Bend. So.
Yes.
And it's been super cool. Like we've been going to different places. We travel, going to different restaurants,
Yeah.
small holes in a wall or
Yeah.
a bigger place. And you do a little review
Mm-hmm.
or tell them about our experience, show them the food. And it's really cool seeing all the comments come in
Yeah.
like, oh, we love it there too. And this and that, and then just bringing that support to that business.
Yeah, we love supporting small local businesses.
Well, and the cool thing
Yeah.
is you guys are on the road and you're checking these places out because you need a place to eat or whatever, stay. And now that, you're helping support that business. And then people are like, that maybe just follow you, are like, hey, you know what? I might go check that place out because Ed's there, this and that. And so that does help out a business as a ton. And I mean, that's another good thing you guys are doing for people and enjoying their delicious food, right?
Right. So many people, they'll be like, I didn't even know that was there. Next time we go through, we're going to check that out. So, and they appreciate it. And I think it's a win-win for everybody.
I mean, obviously Rivers Bend's awesome. I've been there. I've known the place, but like any favorite, even if it was like a hole in the wall or something that you discovered when you've been on the road.
Oh, like, I mean, just in Marinette, we went to that little dive bar, the Marine House.
Marine House, yeah, we were just there, and that really blew up. Well, but Mickey Lou's barbecue, I'm sure you heard of Mickey Lou's
Yep.
in Marinette.
Yum.
Everybody
I could
knows
eat
about
there
that.
every
But
Yeah, we was in Marinette, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
but the Marine House, we were just at really nice fish fry, and they all watched the videos. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things, like going to these different restaurants, and right away, like people know who you are, and they're like, "Oh, we love your videos. Thanks for cleaning up." And we were just at the hospital with my dad yesterday, and the nurse comes in. She's like, "I don't know who you guys are, but all the nurses out there are like, that's Ed the diver." And we were just like laughing, but it's like my dad was just getting a ablation. But it went well. He's
Good.
back
Good to
home
Here,
now,
yeah, very
but
good to hear.
Yeah.
it's just funny. Everywhere we go, at a grocery store, you're checking out, the next teller next to you is like, "Oh, I love your guys' videos."
Yeah.
And then they get loud, and everybody's looking at the teller like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, we were in the parade for the Marinette, city of Marinette, and people running up to us. And I mean, there's people that start crying and shaking. I mean, it's like we are just seriously two regular down to earth people. And yeah, it doesn't go to our heads, honestly. We just like to meet new people, get out there, have fun, and support the community and businesses. And
Yep.
we love what we do.
Well, obviously people love what you do too because they're that excited to see you, and it's like that's one thing too. People recognize me out, and I like one of the things I really love about the Midwest is people are like always positive.
For
they just
sure.
have something nice to say, whether or not they think that they've always been. It's been very positive.
Yes.
It is hard sometimes to go places to eat because everybody recognizes you, but I mean. Like I said, everybody's just really nice. And you can tell it's like Midwest polite culture because
sure.
people will come up to you and like very, very politely ask for like whether it's a picture just to talk to you. And you're like, it's yes, you guys are awesome. So-
Right.
Well, funny story. Like I live right next to a Quick Trip in Marinette, and when I had my beard, I just cut it off recently, but it was about that big. And this kid at the counter working there, he's like, "Oh, can I get one of your stickers, man?" I'm like, "I don't have any on me right now." He's like, "I see your billboards all over the place."
yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, that's Russell."
He thought it was you.
I love it. Ed.
Russell
I love it.
sponsors me, but I can give you one of his stickers too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
He gets that a lot about you.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I brought him your sticker, my sticker, and his name is Aiden. He's
You
pretty.
just gotta grill that. Yeah, well, we gotta get something to Aiden. Tell Aiden where's it, the Marinette Quick Trip? Or
Yeah,
where's
Marinette.
Yeah, that's
Downtown.
the busiest Quick Trip. And like, even Ryan Rubel said, he's like, I have never seen a Quick Trip this busy. It is unreal, the Quick Trip in Marinette.
I walked it for lunch every break.
Oh.
Like it's right 2 houses away from me, and I just walked there. So
Yeah.
Quick Trip is like the one thing too. I was just telling somebody this because if people now Quick Trip's expanding, and you got Quick Starts, whatever, but in Iowa and Quick Trip's further expanding further in Minnesota, but in Wisconsin, Quick Trip's kind of like you get meals there.
Yeah.
You obviously get fuel, right?
Yeah.
But you get groceries sometimes, right? Like a lot of people do that, and so it's just a
Hamburger,
place.
everything.
Right, yeah.
Beverages.
It's everything, and I think so. One thing too, if you like caffeinated drinks, well, you don't even need to like caffeinated drinks because they have other options. But do you see they have like that smoothie, that big like
Yes.
it's like 7-foot high smoothie. So I let my kids every time we're there, they pick you can get like a glazered flavored like smoothie, and it's
Sure.
not too bad for you because it's they have all the ingredients. It's mainly ice, but I'm into, and I'm mostly a guy that just drinks like coffee and cream, like sometimes I put a little cinnamon in it, but that's it. I'm real basic.
Yeah.
But I'll get those like coffee drinks there, like they're blended. Man, that's my new thing. Any big plans you guys have? I mean, I know you're just gonna be out doing a lot. You got a lot of stuff, but anything really exciting that you're gonna be doing that you think of?
Think any more
big
requests to do like more speaking? We're doing a fair, Menominee County Fair on Sunday. We just did a parade, but no, we just like to just travel random spots, and we don't really have a huge schedule. It's just every week we're like, can we do this? Can we do that? Let's go.
Wherever the wind blows. But yeah, also, I mean, a big thing is the exhibit at the Neville Public Museum.
Yes.
That'll be this fall, so we'll be letting everybody know about that. But yeah, we just get so many calls, text calls,
Yeah.
messenger, you name
Emails.
it. But it's always an adventure, usually every day. But
Well, and they can still, and people can get like kind of one of your treasures, like, right? I mean, you guys online, you can purchase some of that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, at the diver.
thediver.com.
Yeah.
he's got me trained.
Well, and I've got some cool stuff that you had sent me that you found for my kids, and they love it. I mean, my kids are big into fishing, and so and like they like Ed the diver, so it's I think
Yeah.
Well, you got that big lure behind you.
I love it.
I don't know, gave me that. Might be
Right.
Ed the diver. At first, though, I told them like we're gonna be catching some monster fish. Then I had to tell them, well, not really, and so we can't use it, but it's pretty cool looking. So,
Love it.
but yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and venturing over here. I appreciate it.
It was our honor. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, wait, don't head out just yet. Do you have a story that's so Midwest it couldn't have happened anywhere else? Or do you know a Midwest legend in your own life? Give me a call at 866-MWLEGND. Your story may be featured on our future episode or on our socials. Looking forward to hearing your Midwest legends.